Oh my gosh, guys, welcome back to the Light Warriors Unleashed podcast. My name is Colleen Lindberg, for those that do not know who I am and just landed in my world. And I am the host of this podcast and so stoked and excited this week to share with you Rusty Diamond. When I first encountered this guy, him and I just hit it off like really energetically. I was like, who is this man? And he sent me his bio for this podcast. And the bio goes as such: hypnotist, pro wrestler, podcast interviewer, comedian, stand-up comedy, and also to astronaut. And I was like, oh my God, we are going to have a well-diverse conversation. And the vibration of owning your crazy really comes into relevancy in this podcast. There's a couple of like potent one-liners that you're going to hear throughout. So all I ask you to do is be present in the conversation. Find the nugget within what we're talking about for you to be able to step in authentically into your world, for you to be able to own and move within the change in your life. Some of his stories about, busting out his knee and how he came into hypnotherapy is like an amazing story. And I guarantee you there's relevance in your world right now as to what you're moving through, what you are about to kind of collapse into your narrative right now. And all I ask is that you take the courage, hold a space for yourself, give yourself some grace, and just listen to this on your ear with that open heart to hear and feel what it is that you desire to move through right now in your world and in your space to own this potency inside of you. So without further ado, episode 26 of the Light Warriors Unleashed podcast, Rusty Diamond. Let's go crazy, my friend. Oh my gosh. Okay, Rusty. I definitely, so for those of you guys that don't know, all of my guests send in a bio before they come in for me to be able to like do the amazing intro. And on Rusty's bio, it says the last line was like astronaut. And I'm like, okay, I really need, because you guys obviously heard me introduce him. So he's got these like dynamics in his world, but I really want to plug this. And I want to start off with, why the astronaut? How did that come about? And how does that like fit in your world?
I mean, I think it fits in my world pretty all right. So I was at this place, fine establishment called the Westland Saloon in Westland, Oregon. And there was a guy, I believe his name was John. And he said, "You know what, Rusty? You're an adventure astronaut." And I said, "What the fuck is an adventure astronaut? Is that an insult or what? What are you trying to tell me?" And he's like, "No, that's what you are." I'm like, "Well, you can't say that's what you are and that mean anything." But it's like, "No, that's what you are." And so I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I guess I could see adventure astronaut. I guess whatever the fuck I'm doing and whatever you perceive me as at this bar." Because I used to frequent that bar pretty often. Even when I wasn't drinking, I would still frequent that bar. Um, but at that time I probably was frequenting the bar drinking, and I don't know. I guess we had something that made him think that I'm crazy. But I also think he was the person. I was talking to somebody about this. I was talking to a woman who on my podcast who is a shit. I'm gonna butcher the term. I want to say not a star child, a
Seed? Star seed.
star star seed.
Star seed. Yeah. Yeah. That's a term really
She's a
known in the
star
ethers.
seed.
Yeah.
Yes, and um, I was telling her that somebody told me, and I think it was him that he said, no, maybe it wasn't him. He said, don't get too close to my wife. I don't want her to get pregnant with an alien baby." And I was like, what is going on here? What is this fucking place? This place is out of control. But it was a wild place, and I don't know how a lot of that happened, but there were definitely memories there of that place. And
Is this in
so that was
Oregon? Is
kind
you
of,
said Oregon, right? Oregon?
yeah,
Yeah.
Oregon, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I lived there for a while now, Oregon. I mean, it's interesting there. It's changed. I moved there from there like 4 years ago ish, a little more than 4 years ago.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it was time to go. I lived there for over 30 years, so I got my fair share of Portland, and all the surrounding areas. Before I moved, I was living in Boring, Oregon, which
Is that
is
what it's
a
called?
place. Yep,
Yeah.
yep. There's another place. I forgot where it is. I want to say it's in Ireland or something. Their sister town is Dole, Ireland, I think, or some other place like that. But yeah, I lived in Boring, Oregon, so that was cool. But yeah, then I had to leave. I was like, okay, I
Yeah, let me ask you
gotta
a
get out
question.
of here.
Yeah, is that why you became a comedian? Because of the fact that you lived in boring Oregon and like you couldn't help but like have to step into this role now because of the fact that you came from a city that's called boring?
Well, I didn't live in Boring until I was 30 something.
Okay, yeah.
I was living in a town. I kind of lived all over that area, but I grew up in a little town there called West Lynn, and it's like 25 minutes south of Portland. And yeah, I mean, I always kind of was the outsider looking in the
Yeah.
town. I always felt like so, it was a lot of observational humor is what my stuff came to as far as jokes. But then I got to a part where I found out that jokes are not really my thing, and I'm not very good at telling jokes. But here I am, a stand-up comedian, getting paid to do this, but I don't like telling jokes. So it became me, someone giving me a microphone, which basically is how I ended up looking at it. And coming from pro wrestling, it was like, okay, well, here's a microphone to say whatever you want. And I hope it goes well. And but I think I really learned how to get to talking with people and
Yes.
understanding crowds. And like before any performance, or even if I'm going on first, I'm looking through the curtain or whatever it is, kind of like mapping out the whole audience. Or if I am on later on in the show, I'm watching every comedian, watching how every person in the crowd is acting and reacting. And I go out there and
Use
I
it
don't
as
know,
fuel. Yeah.
sometimes I'm liked, sometimes I'm not. And
Yeah.
so it's
Well,
all
and
fun though. And yeah.
yeah, like you could put that into any context, like really, like you can step up on a stage and fully own who you really are. And that's the same thing that we show up in social media and the way we show up in life. And not everyone's going to get you, not everyone's going to laugh at the jokes. And some people are like, I'm all in, and they like are salivating towards who you are as a person and they can't get enough. And then they like stalk you on YouTube to watch all your comedy. Um, but there's the rest of the people that just may not ever get you. And that's just such like the diversity we get to live within, right?
Yep. And I love that. I'm happy with that. I talked to a guy, he's an author up in Vancouver who is a wrestler. And he was talking about, I forgot what it's called. It's called the not, like how if you have 100 fans, then you can make a good life and a good thing. Like not everybody's gonna listen, but those 100 people, they are there for you. And like that's kind of how the people are that are into what I do. It's not like, hey, he's all right. It's like I like this guy a lot, or else like, no, not for me, not for me. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you can have him. And so, but I mean, that's all I really want when I'm doing anything is to get one person. That's it. One
Yep.
person who like is gonna do something, is gonna make an impact and something they're not gonna get from someone trying to be so liked. And just
Yeah.
like I can get that one person. And if that person is, seen by the audience, they might be able to, you know, get in with the crowd and like be like, oh, he's really connecting with that person there. Maybe not the whole audience sometimes, but if I can get through to one person, have one person come up to me afterwards and, say like, hey, like,
Good
I
job,
get you.
brother. That was awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I used to go up. This was one of the things. So, when I do comedy, someone did take this idea afterwards later. So in the town I grew up in, it was, I don't know, it like a suburban, upper class suburban town. And so there was the paper, like the newspaper for the city called the Westland Tidings. And in there was the police log. And the police log was comedy fucking gold. And so
I bet it
I
was.
would just, I'd go up there and like, I wouldn't look at it. I'd just bring the paper in there with me, sit down and just start reading these things like police were called to, someone that had a dog that was barking too loud and, or kids were parked in some spot and it looked suspicious, or there was a person pulled over for suspected drunk driving, but turns out the person was just elderly and shit like that. It was just like the most ridiculous things ever. And I just get to react to that and tell those stories. I used to go when I'd be on these long road trips, driving through fucking, uh, like all over kind of the West Coast and even like, especially up through BC and shit, like where it's just hours and hours to anything. I'd always bring the paper with me and I'd always read them to the people I was writing with. And I'm like, I should probably just start doing this. And so, but then, yeah, I'd have some people come up to me afterwards and be like, oh shit, I get it. I get what you're doing. And so as long as, yeah, there's one person, that's all I really need. Just a little validation that I probably didn't get at some point in my life. It's good to get it from random people or someone calling me an adventure astronaut or some shit like that. But
Well, it's so
it's been a
true
trip.
though. Yeah, like it is true. Like I always state, like I was on a call yesterday with someone who wants me to be on their radio show, and I said to her, like, my job is if I can light one light and get one person lit up in their life, whatever that looks like and is, then I've done my job. Now, if we get multiples or hundreds, amazing, but my job is one. So just like you,
Yeah.
like if you can get one guy in the audience or one person in the audience like really jamming on you and they got to be in that space and release their worries for the last half an hour and just laugh their ass off or really connect, then you've done your job, right?
Yeah. And I mean, how can you, I mean, I don't know, because there's a lot where it's like people are like, oh, yeah, that's pretty good. But I mean, I've definitely had ones where I feel like nobody else is enjoying what I'm doing. And
Yeah.
I'm going up to the person and saying, like, that's fucking amazing. Whatever you're doing, keep doing that. You're
Mhm.
doing something. If you might not get the best reactions out here, but keep doing what you're doing. Like you're doing something that's causing me to feel something. And I mean, with you, I mean, having someone feel something, it could be feeling anyway. It could be feeling good, feeling bad, feeling something, but it's real easy to not feel anything when there's some sort of, um, any kind of anything put out into the world. If you can just not really feel anything when you see something or hear something and not connect, that connection is so important. And I think
Yeah.
it's important for everybody. Everybody needs that connection somehow. And especially if you feel like you're not connecting with the rest of the world or you're the outsider looking in, being able to find somebody that's like, oh shit, okay, what you said just fucking blew my fucking mind. And I wouldn't have thought that way, but I'm totally with you on that one. And you can't, I don't know, you can't really get past that. You need that.
Well,
Everyone needs
yeah.
that.
That's a big deal, like, and I really think that if us as a collective, like, and like all of us coming together, if we can lead in that light to keep stepping into our truth, to keep stepping into like the pathway, like comedy is one of your outlets. You've got many, but comedy is one of them. And your role then is to help assist potentially anybody who needs to listen to feel that, so that they can feel included in a collective. And I know, like you just said, you were an outsider growing up. Sometimes people aren't laughing at your stuff when you step up onto the stage. Like, how do you deal with the rejection part, or how do you deal with like being vulnerable and out there, and then people maybe not accepting you as you?
Okay, this is something I like to get to tell a lot.
Yay.
So a year or two ago, I was living in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I got to go on to a Mormon talk show. And
Excited already. It's gonna be
they,
good.
yeah, they didn't do a good job of vetting the people that were on there. Because I got on there, and so I was asking some questions that were, yeah, that they did not make to air. But one of them was about rejection and, feeling uncomfortable. But yeah, this one did not make it. And I said, you know, when you're anywhere and you shit your pants, you you're there. You're like, what's gonna get worse? You cannot shit your pants anymore. Like, you're just, once you've had that part where it's like there's no coming back, you're like, okay, well, what can get worse? Let's just go with it. I'm here. I got shit in my pants, but I'm still up here, and I'm what are you gonna do? What can be worse? And then it just really leaves me, or anyone, free to be open to do anything. I've failed at so many things in my life, but at the same time, it's opened up for me to do a lot of stuff. I thought when um I destroyed my knee and I had to stop wrestling, I was like, okay, well, I can probably get like, I think I can either be done or do like one last little thing. But I don't, I'm not in that space where it's like I really care about anything. I'm just like, I don't really give a fuck. And so I made this thing that was basically, it was called Shitty Promoter. And boy, did I get, and I would tell stories of promoters doing really shitty stuff. And I got a lot of heat for that. A lot of people were really, really pissed off. But I had people that were so fucking into that, and I could just fucking ride that. If I wanted to do that, I could have stuck with that and had that be my thing. It was just me not caring at all. Just like, I don't, not, I'm done. I'm on my last part, just fucking
Yeah.
throwing whatever at the, nothing to lose. And it's a great feeling. And I feel like I've got that in so many places just by failing so many times and just sitting there with egg on my face and knowing what that feeling is like. And like, I've felt that. It's not rock bottom, but it's probably pretty close.
Yeah.
And I mean, what? Like, it can't be worse than that. So why not just do this and have fun? Like, not have to worry about what people are going to think because they've already seen me looking like an asshole. Like, why not just go for it? Just do whatever. Like, it can't get worse. It cannot get worse. So rejection is great. And I mean, I think it was about asking out someone
Yeah.
um on
Yeah.
a date, and I was
Yep.
like, I've been rejected by so many women that I've asked out, and it's just like, you know, it's okay. It's okay. They could say no, but like, it's not gonna deter me. I'll still like,
Keep
I'm like,
stepping in,
okay,
right?
well, I'm learning. I'm learning.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep stepping in. Like, I'm learning, and I'll be like, I can get more and more about, you know, my authentic self. And people really need to be their authentic self. There's
Yes.
so much of people wanting to like stop and not just trying to fit in or trying to do what someone wants them to do. And I mean, so I don't know. It's like when I was growing up, all I wanted to do was be a professional wrestler. That's all I wanted to do. But I was 6'2", 150 pounds or some shit like that. Like, it's like, well,
Um,
so, and then, I had my guidance counselor. He's like, no, that's stupid. Don't do that. You're way too small. You can't do that. Go do something. Go to college. Go to college. Like everyone else is doing. That's what you're supposed to do. And I listened to him. That was fucking dumb. I went
thank
to school.
you.
I got a fucking degree. Why did I get a degree? I was terrible at school. I hated school. And what am I going to do with this? What my degree? What the fuck have I done with my degree?
What degree did
That
you
was
get? Tell me about your degree. What degree?
oh my God. Okay. So
Social
I
sciences or
had,
something? Or was it psychology?
yeah, uh, environmental sociology
Yes.
and Russian.
You're
Like,
Russian.
yep. What the fuck am I going to do with that? I was the 29th person in the world to get an environmental sociology degree. And I know why, because it's fucking stupid and useless.
Yeah.
No one else is going to go get something like that. But I was like, and then plus, like when I go to job interviews, people would ask me, so what'd you go to college for? And I would tell them personal enlightenment. And like, what the fuck? What does an employer think when you say that? They're like, well, okay. But I mean, if I could have like, if I had a choice, I would have dropped out when I was 16 and I would have started working. But like now there's YouTube University, which I was just talking about with my last podcast. You can learn anything you want to learn. Um, MIT, Harvard, Stanford all have courses online that are free.
Yeah.
And so I mean, if you really want to do the work and you want to learn, you can learn. If you want to go to college for the experience, you can do that too. But I mean, there's so much to learn and so much about just being able to really zoom in on what you like. And we've gotten to a place in 2023 where it seems a lot more people are okay with like quote unquote nerding out on some shit or whatever it may be and just
Yeah.
really getting into something. And it was like couldn't do that 20 years ago. Like
No.
you're just like,
And like
yeah,
own
you're
it
fuck.
and like really owning the fact that like now it's like, well, we're accepting to some degree. Like there's a lot of people still trying to conform people, put them into boxes, become lemmings, follow me, and this will make work. We see it in our governmental systems and all that kind of shit too that's moving through the collective. But we really are, just like you just said, at this place right now that we can own who we are. We can bust open the boxes of all the shit that people say to us. Like, you have to go to school, you need to get your degree, you need to do all this. Like, there is probably millionaires at the age of 17, 18, 19 years old right now in the world that are just doing whatever the fuck they want to do because of the fact that they've broken free from the conformity. Like, you could do
Right.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, why not? Why not? And I mean, if I would have had the access to what anyone has now, I mean, you got your fucking phone. You can do anything
Oh,
with
yeah.
this thing. It's there. I mean, when I was 16, 17, maybe 18, I had like I got onto eBay and like I was going to school.
Nice.
I was also delivering pizzas
Yep.
once I got to this part and I started doing it over. But the thing is, so uh, I bought this might date me. It was 70 hours of porn clips on I think 12 or 13 burn CDs. And some of the stuff was like black and white, some of it was like 5 seconds, up to maybe like 30 seconds. But I found out that I could just go and copy this shit, which I think statute of limitations are okay with this now. Um, and so then I just go and resell the stuff on eBay. And
Oh, wow.
I was just
Yeah.
going
Killing
and
it.
people were buying this all the time. And my roommate that I moved out in high school and lived with one of my friends. And um, he had a CD burner in his room. And
Yep.
so like and it took a long time to burn a CD then. It
Oh,
wasn't
it
a fast
totally
thing.
did.
So
Yeah.
yeah, having to do like 13 CDs, I just keep on going through there. But I'd be buying these big old spindles of blank CDs and then selling them off. And
Shit, they were the thing. Like I used to download movies from like what are those like that site called? Like I don't like you go to it and it'd be like a little bit shitty of the movie, but you still get it on a CD or a DVD and then you could like watch it later on your DVD player. And I used to do that with music, but I never did it with porn.
yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know. It's whoever did it, and just had this collection. And I just bought it and just kept repurposing it. And I don't know,
Yeah.
but it was fun. It was fun, and it taught me a lot about a lot of things, and it taught me a lot about what people like, I guess. And I don't, but I mean, people were looking at me like I'm fucking crazy then, because it was
Yeah.
like, what's this? You're buying fucking porn on the internet from a kid is one thing, I guess. That was probably a little odd. So, but they don't know that. They don't know that I'm a kid. So,
Yeah.
there's a bunch of people buying porn from a fucking 17-year-old, and but
Hey,
if
sometimes
I
you got to
if
do
I
what you
were
got to do, right? Like that's just
you
what
got
you were drawn to at the time. And you're like, I need to make money. Like I'm living on my own. I got to do some stuff. I'm trying to go to school still. Like you just stepped in to do whatever you needed to do.
and um sure be going to school, and I was like, hey, well, I can go this totally other path and do that. But then somehow, I got roped into fucking college. I was gonna go and uh, do something else. I was gonna go work on a marina when I got out of
Mm,
school, and then I didn't. And
no,
I'm probably okay. I didn't do that. Um, but I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't be where I am now if I hadn't have done all the stuff I had done throughout the last however many years. And I mean, going to college is one thing, but learning and being immersed in something is completely different. And being able to have almost unlimited amounts of anything you want to learn. There's almost no end to, if you have one thing that you're really into, you can learn that. And plus having someone say like you can only do one thing, like
no, you are the epitome
that
of
was a
that
hard one.
already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like if you just did one thing, you could do so much better. You'd be so much better if you just focus on one thing. I'm like, I can't focus on one fucking thing. My brain wants to go somewhere else. My brain's going somewhere else. And like, if I can be able to mix stuff together, I want to be able to mix stuff together. And that one took a long time to be able to get to, but something I was able to do. Something to be able nice to be able to mix it all together, get things going, working
Well,
at the
yeah.
same time.
We've been conditioned to think like, and there's that mechanism that is going through the world, like just become the expert at this, just become the expert at this. And personal development taught us that, like even 10 years ago, it's like nose to the grindstone, just stay the pace, stay the pace, stay the pace. However, there's people having success out there right now that are doing multiple things and they love their life and they're at peace. They don't, like they don't have this stress that we put on top of ourselves to become so defined in this one lane that they can be all the dimensions to themselves. And well, I think we all have these dimensions, but most of us are hiding a lot of this light within us, this purity, because what will other people think, which you've touched on already in here. This like the world can't handle this crazy, like inside of that space. But if we actually fully stepped in and embodied this and really just leaned in, like we've already heard about three of the dimensions within you. Like we've got the astronaut side, the comedian, and the wrestler. We haven't even touched yet on the hypnotherapist, the hypnosis side, which we are going to definitely lean into as well. But like some of these things don't even make sense together, yet they are you, where it
Right.
doesn't matter if they make sense to anyone else.
And you know what? It's okay to feel great.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. No matter how you get there, it's okay to feel great. You don't have to you don't have to be miserable. You don't have to have a case of the Mondays or,
Mhm.
or whatever kind of a thing. It's like, but then I don't know. It seems that a lot of people don't want to see someone feeling good. But if you see someone feeling good, you should be going up to them and say, how? Why? What is going on? Why are you feeling good? What do I need to do? What do I need to do? Why do I not just go try something different? This isn't working. This is making me miserable. And like, um, or like a relationship or something. It's like, okay, well, it's just shitty, and this is just how life is going to be forever. And it's like this is what everyone's dealing with. And for like any kind of relationship, whether it's romantic or platonic or whatever, is
Yeah.
doesn't have to be. You can feel great. It's okay. It's okay to feel great. Find the people who are feeling great. But magnetize yourself. Gravitate towards them. Get towards people that are doing it right. It doesn't have to be done a certain way. And I feel that people not I don't know, maybe like 20-25% of the people maybe just don't want to see other people happy, or they do,
Mhm.
but they because they want it themselves. Like
Well,
or
and
they
they
want they want
also,
to feel that way,
yeah,
feel
like
the same.
hurting, they say hurting people hurt people, right? So if they're hurting and they aren't willing to do the work or to step into that and move through it, then they want everyone else around them hurting too, so that now they have a story to tell, right? We're all hurting together. We're not alone. When it's like this self-sabotaging mechanism that's been running through this storyline, when I love this, like, it's okay to feel happy. It's okay to feel happy. And even if someone else isn't happy, you don't have to diminish yourself to that level to hold space there. We are empathic and we understand and we have sympathy and we can send love and light and hold it. But we can't do the work for others for sure. And we're all on our own journey. But when we start diminishing ourselves is when we get into some trouble.
We can get into a lot of fucking trouble with that. And
I
I
used
mean,
to
it's
have it as
real.
a middle name, trouble. You know, like,
Yeah, yeah. It's real easy to go down that path, and it's especially when it can sympathy can be masked as happiness. But
mm,
getting sympathy it's a quick fix, but you're not getting to the underlying problem of what is wrong with you. And it's not fair to yourself or anybody around you. Or yes, you gotta. And so like with um like with a relationship or something, and you have someone that's hasn't had time to heal from whatever happened from their last relationship, they're bringing it into the new one. And whoever
yes.
is, it's not their fault. Like, they're getting shit that's has nothing to do with them, and it's just because somebody was, I don't know, selfish. I don't know if it's the right word, but sort of, to be
Yeah.
able to take care of themselves. You have to take care of yourself. Like the whole fucking stupid airplane oxygen mask
Analogy is
comparison,
like
like
a big
analogy,
thing.
is like,
Yeah.
it's like you really fucking do. You gotta fucking take care of yourself, and it's not fair to other people around you. And so yeah, and but it's so easy to go for sympathy. Like, it's
Yes.
so easy to just
Look at
tell a sob
me.
story and be
Yeah.
like,
Poor me. Here
poor
I am, the
poor me,
victim. Yeah.
but I can't do anything. I'm not doing anything about it.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I
you
totally
get,
agree.
yeah, you get that short little pat on the back, but then you're not doing anything to fix yourself because that becomes an easier route to that small bit of serotonin that you're going to get from this. And then putting a fucking, band-aid on a, I don't know, fucking
Big ass open wound.
big ass open wound. Yeah. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, you'll be good for a second, but yeah, it's
Yeah. I
real
think
easy to just
boundaries like are a really key thing that we really need to understand. Like when we come out of relationships, and I even feel, and some people are going to definitely chastise me for this for sure, but like even the dynamic that's happening in our relationships, if somebody does something to us, we are still in this relationship. So we've either allowed that action to come into our field because we didn't communicate, we didn't step in, we didn't like have the courage at the time. And then all of a sudden they took a longer leash and a longer leash and a longer leash. And because at the beginning you didn't nip it or speak your truth, whatever that was, now they got away with it, quote unquote. When in the beginning, A, you saw the red flags probably, B, you didn't step into the space and you thought you could change them when that's who they actually are, right? So like we have to take
right,
responsibility too. I had an ex that
absolutely.
cheated on me, and I had to look within myself to go, why did this happen? Because of the fact that I was needy at the time. I maybe suffocated his energy. Like it's not like we weren't having sex, we were always having sex, but he needed it fulfilled in a different way, that I was trying to become something that I wasn't. And like looking at some of the dynamics of all that, I'm like, okay, yeah, he cheated on me, but I also was a part of this relationship. And it takes a big person, quote unquote, to look at themselves in this too, right? Like, and some of
Right,
the shit that happened in the past, like, I don't want to bring that forward. I don't want this there. So now, how do I shift this? I communicate my desires, I communicate my needs, I step into that space and I own it. And I go, look, this is me. I'm not diminishing my life for anyone. If you can't fucking handle this shit, then we're not supposed to be together. But there's a
right.
lot of people out there that are kowtowing in that dynamic for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's real easy to get into that, and it's real easy to I think it was in BoJack Horseman that red flags don't look red in rose-colored glasses,
Yeah.
and
If there's any
it's
flags, pay attention. Like
right. Yeah, if another thing, like if you have that the butterflies in your stomach feeling, like that's not good. It's not good to have butterflies in your stomach. That's your body and your everything inside of you saying, watch the fuck out. Like these are this is a red flag. You're feeling like you're gonna be acting on, adrenaline, and you're gonna be not in a calm space. You're always gonna be fight or flight mode when you have this in you, and you're just like your body knows, and it's real easy to fucking ignore that. And for some reason, and throughout a lot of media that we've seen, that they've made it that these butterflies in your stomach are a great thing to have, and it's really not a good thing to have.
yeah.
It's something to just really watch out for. It's just, yeah, it's okay, and I don't think there's enough looking inward. And yeah, like you were saying with your relationship, I mean, it's really, I mean, you could have gone the route of, looking for, that short little band-aid on
Yeah.
the big fucking gaping wound.
Or
And
poor me, look at me, he cheated on
or
me, da da da, all the bullshit that goes around that.
right,
Instead I was like, whoa, I'm part of this relationship too. So it's never just one person. It's both of us.
right, it takes two to tango, as the
Yay.
kids say. And I mean, how much more empowered are you now, and how much you're able to, like we were saying earlier, it's okay to feel great. You don't have to like go into this of shit of not
Yeah.
not being like, okay, I can get what I want, and it's okay if someone is not, you know, jiving with you or whatever, not in the, the same sort of stuff. Like, it's okay to be like, okay, yeah, this is not a good idea.
Yeah.
There's something like, just gotta, no, 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 please just don't do it. That's not worth it. Nothing's worth it that is going to make you not feel good. Like, you can feel great. And especially, and being able, there's nothing really more important than knowledge about yourself and taking care of yourself.
Mhm.
Because I mean, that's so overlooked, and just, I need, or, that I need to fix someone. I need to fix someone. And it's like, but at the same time, fucking falling apart.
Yeah.
You're falling apart. And
Yeah.
like, what can you do? Like, it's not helping anyone. It's not going to help the people that you're trying to help. You're only able to give so much. And and then and then you yourself are drained from
Yeah.
just trying to,
Got to feel
you
your
know,
pain
with
first.
you gave out all this energy that,
Yeah. And then you can actually serve if you actually are full within yourself in that understanding. Yeah. I feel you.
right.
I feel
Yeah.
you.
Or,
So,
or yeah, no, go ahead.
no, no, what were you going to say?
Well, I was gonna say, or taking on other people's energy,
Oh,
people that
God.
are fucking just, well, I believe that there was a term, energy vampires.
Oh, my God. There's so many out there right
Just,
now.
yeah. So that was one of the things. So I guess I could segue into this. So when I um when I busted my knee, I was on the road all the time, um, wrestling all over. And one day I was walking across a driveway carrying a bunch of flooring, and I stepped in a hole,
Mm,
and there went my knee. And I was like, I am fucked. I don't know what's good. I don't like everything, like my job, all my jobs were just physical. And I was like,
mm,
I don't know what to do. And I got into the poor me, like, and it's not a place you want to go. It's not a place you want to go. And so, I mean, I got depressed, and um, but then it's like I went and met with a therapist,
yep.
and she was cool as fuck. And I was very much, all therapists fucking are stupid, because I just had terrible ones.
Yep.
And but then there are hundreds of thousands of therapists in the world. Just because you have some, but it's like, not, I'm not going to click with everybody. And
We
but then
never
if you find
do.
someone
Yeah.
that
We
you
never
click
do.
with,
Yeah.
yeah. And then so I went there, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with my life. And like, I'm I'm around people that I don't like, and just every time I go around them, just like, I'm just fucking lost. Like, and I feel like shit. And I just am like, where's the exit? How do I go home? I don't want to go home. I don't want to be around these people. And so she gave me this book, um, called Empath Healing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was about being able to not take on other people's bad energy. And, you know, even just the picture of having a bubble around you where people cannot, um, you know, take your energy and be able to, and you're not fucking taking on everyone else's shit that's coming around you. That's just, you know, just negative and sad. And, I take that on, and I just become, like, okay, well, Yeah. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
And then I don't want to be around them anymore. And then
It's a real
once,
thing, that empath energy. Like it really is. Like there's a lot of people in the world that are empaths. So they, for those that don't know that term, you literally feel everyone else's energy. And some of you are taking it on as your own when it's not yours at all. You know, I have a
yeah.
warrior empath energy, meaning I can feel people, but I don't take that shit on. Like I have a warrior exterior to my energetics. And I've been that way for a long time, not consciously understanding what I was even doing or knowing. But yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
how'd that work?
Yeah, I just never, like, I could feel them, but I would never be like, come into my world and let me take it from you. And if I ever did,
Wow.
it would be like it would process through, like, oh, it's almost like this armor I had around me. It would process through the armor and then it wouldn't affect me. So it's super interesting. So it's like I would always envision myself in a warrior outfit, which makes sense for like the mission I'm on now, Light Warriors Unleashed, like helping light warriors step into their, lives and pathways and stuff. So it's interesting, the visual on that.
Yeah. And so I mean like the warrior outfit would be similar to a bubble,
Yeah.
in a way, just like this impenetrable force field that cannot get through, and they can't get through a warrior fucking
Yeah.
exterior like that. So you're not taking on that bullshit. And um and so in that book, it also had two career paths for um someone
Yeah.
of that nature. And one of them was a Reiki, and the other one was a hypnotist.
No kidding. That's
And
hilarious. I love it.
I was like, hmm. And so, I'm from the world of professional wrestling. I don't believe 95% of anything I see. Like I feel like, and I thought hypnosis was like a magic show, and someone always has to be in on it. And so I looked up hypnosis training in Portland, Oregon, and
Yeah.
um, called up the first one, and I talked to the guy for maybe like 20, 25 minutes on the phone. He's like, okay, well, hey, come on in here tomorrow and let's talk in person. And I went in there and I told him, I'm like, I don't fucking believe any of this. Like, how's this how's this work? Whatever. This is kind of shitty. And I guess he's great at hypnosis. He got me to
Surrender and sign up.
surrender and
Yeah.
sign up
Yeah.
to take his class.
Yeah, I love it.
And yeah, guy was is fascinating. He was, I think he just passed his 60 years as a hypnotist.
Wow.
And so I think he was at 55 then when I started. And um yeah, fucking his technique was very different, his way of teaching, where instead of learning a lot of stuff by book, it was just, let's hypnotize each other. Let's just go and,
Actual. Yeah.
yeah, do the actual stuff. And so, like, by the time we were all done with the class and graduated, we're already fucking light years ahead of everybody
Practicing.
else that's
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah.
And and we had to sign a thing when we entered
A waiver.
the course, a waiver, that because he would say some wild shit,
I bet.
to kind of like pattern interruption stuff, to just kind of like throw
Yeah.
everybody off their game. So like a lot of the stuff now, I mean, you probably couldn't say, but
We're so bound
five,
now by these like constrictions of like stupid bullshit. But yeah, that's so funny.
yeah, yeah, 5 years ago, it was cool. And I mean, like I said, I was so horrible at school. I both high school and college, I was like, I had to scrape to get a 2.0 GPA to be able to graduate from both.
Yeah.
And but hypnosis, like, I was fucking top of the class, by a fucking good margin. I loved it. The first time I went there, and at this time I'm totally sober. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything, and like I'm in pain, and I kept saying hypnosis is great, just telling everyone, just like, I love this stuff so much. This is amazing. The first time I hypnotized, I'm like, fuck, I get it. I get why you're doing this. I get everything about it. And I fell in love with it. It fucking changed my life and went from a huge, huge negative to fucking something that I can share with so many people. And so I go back to my therapist and I'm talking with her, and she ended up letting me rent out one of her rooms in her office
Nice.
building, or like office part, for free. And just, and then I also found out she never charged me for any of my sessions,
What?
which is wild. And like the first day I went in there, I was sitting in the waiting room and I get a text message from my little sister that the two people that I graduated with were involved in murder suicide. And it was like
Wow.
right as I was walking into this thing. And so like when I'm going in there at the very beginning, I'm not there.
Yeah,
I'm
of
talking
course.
to her, but like
Yeah.
I'm just thinking
Yeah.
about this shit. And um I mean she was like, I don't know, I can't thank her enough. And so she got me on a good path. And once that happened, then I mean
Yeah.
it's
Full sailing,
everything
really,
was,
right? Yeah.
yeah, everything was fucked, but now it's okay. And it's great actually. Like it was my, like, okay, well, what else? Like I this is the fucking shitty spot right here I'm in, but I don't have to feel shitty. I can fucking
Make a
get
change.
out and like I can feel good, and I can make other people feel fucking good. And I
Yeah.
love hypnotizing people. Um and just being able to see what it's done, especially so um for the one thing that I will not charge for is for PTSD. I will not charge anyone that's working through that, because what takes fucking uh 6 years doing a session every week with a therapist is about 38%
Effective.
effective.
Yeah.
Whereas I can go in there in an hour and a half and it's like 96% effective.
Yeah.
And just
Move
be, I
that
mean,
energy. Yeah.
some people can just like fucking change their whole life. And sometimes when they think one thing that's been fucking with them with PTSD is actually something that
Totally
happened,
different. Yeah.
way, yeah, before. And then
Yeah.
it comes in their head and they're able to work through that just there. And then, and it's one of those like, once you shit yourself, you can't shit yourself anymore. Like if that stuff comes up again, it's going to come up at a time when you're not super relaxed and in a fucking nice place. Um, Especially once I started doing Zoom calls and people could just be sitting in their bed or, on their couch or whatever. Like you're not going to be in a better place to be able to deal with this. And you just have to go through it one more time. And then once you go through it just one more time, each time, like after that, it's going to get easier and easier. And then you're fucking good. You're good. And
Yeah.
so like, yeah, because of my therapist, Sarita, like I won't, I won't charge anyone for that one. Like
I love it.
that's my
You give back into
pet, my
humanity.
giving
Yeah.
it back for what she did for me. So um I mean, yeah, if you can,
Cool. Yeah. Cool
yeah, if you can
energy.
help people,
Yeah.
like once, yeah, once you fix yourself, once you fix
Yes.
yourself, then you
Not at the
go out and
detriment to
fucking
who
help
you
people.
are. Yeah. Well, I'm sure that, in the show notes, we're going to put links to your social feeds. Like if people really feel this and they want to work with you, they can definitely reach out and connect. Especially, with the spectrum of diversity that you hold inside of your field. I know that you and I could riff forever and talk about multiple things universally. Like we've only scratched the surface, but we've been talking for like an hour already, which is crazy, right?
Well,
Isn't that nuts?
yeah, and you're coming on my show,
Yeah, it's gonna be
so
cool. So we get to
we'll
even
be
do like
able
part
to,
two.
yeah, we'll be able to go through much more of this, and we'll be able to talk a lot more about you. So, which is what I'm looking forward to. So,
That'll be
yeah.
fun.
So, yeah.
But like I want to like close this up by saying like what do you want to leave these listeners with or these viewers if you guys are watching this on YouTube? Like within all of the dimensions to who you are, what you're seeing happening around you, what people are feeling, or whatever it is that you want to lead, like open up your heart right now, Rusty, and tell us like what do you want to leave people with? Go. Pressure's on.
It's okay to shit your pants, and it's also okay to feel great. And you can't feel great unless you shit your pants. So, if you feel like you're going to shit your pants, please shit your pants. You will feel better, and then you can feel great. I think that was it was either Gandhi or Confucius who said that. That was a direct quote. I'm not sure who said that. It was one of those two guys.
I'm pretty
So
sure we paraphrase this.
yeah. So
I love this.
yeah.
So yeah, the show notes are obviously gonna have ways to connect with you. Like I'm just super grateful that we got connected and like how the universe randomly put us in each other's awareness and you were like, hey, I could totally be a guest in your podcast. I was like, let's fucking do it. Like, like let's jump into this space and have a conversation. And just so grateful that you took the time to be here. And yeah, your light shining brightly in the world is definitely needed and warranted. So just want to say I see you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Like I said before, like I was drawn to you. Like I'm like I have to work with you here. Like I'm like, okay, there's something like I'm feeling something like this is good. Go talk with her. And so yeah, I'm really happy we did this, and thank you so much for having me on and giving me a chance to talk about all kinds of
You're
weird
crazy.
shit.
I think I'm going to call the
Yeah.
episode Own You're Crazy. I think that's what I'm going to call it. Because I think it just
It's
totally summarizes the conversation we had. And so many beautiful nuggets were dropped in. And even like one sentence that was like, boom, there's the potency right there, And I just hope and feel that people open up their hearts enough to actually feel the vibration of what you actually said in the world through this. And guys, like always, we just ask, share it out, tag us. We want to move this energy through the collective and let's keep moving forward. So, Rusty, we'll see you again soon.
sounds good.